Ich hab dem Strau und dem Gneid am get sgwalod yn gael i gig. Dygarfod. Wyt chael hyd chwm smog y dad sy'n rhaid.
Can I ask Marge to do it?
Go.
Marge? Yeah, me? Me, Marge. When he was by function, when he said, when Fabi February, Neen was by function, Neen and Dane from Adam and the year meeting, Chapter question will you say was get to believe was Jesus Christ and read. Amen.
Dag zie we dat ze me het gezocht hebben. Nee, nacht het nog heeft het. En maar alleen zoek zich dan. Dag ze maken de geen na zijn nul goed. Ik moet dacht het. Ik wil zeggen when. Gas on the agenda. Administrative matters, all approvals by motion. Ensure its chief speaks to a motion. Review and approve agenda by motion. Review and approve minutes April 15th, 2019 by motion. Update crisis management team, Robin Alexander, Norman Moore, Vernon Smith. Opportunity to have jurisdiction over fisheries tenure and in Skinner watershed. Next steps, motion to hire a lawyer for tribunal. Number 3, 2018 administration and budget, nation rebuilding program, 1 year to 3 years. Next government session date, crisis team only on June 12, 2019. Others, closing prayer. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Go ahead, your board member.
Okay, I'd like to get number 5 regarding execution chiefs. On number 5, when you get there.
At the last meeting, we handed out a letter, and we hadn't gotten a response or a answer back. We didn't hear it on your agenda, so I'm going to hand it out again. But we have sent it to you guys a few times, so we'll send it again to you and bring it up. But we would ask if we could get on the agenda again to discuss this important matter.
Weeks and a day.
You should have reference to it in your minutes if you're not sure. If we could have a response, Chairman? Same one I presented last meeting? Was it distributed? Okay, was it recorded in the minutes?
Yeah, it was recorded.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you. This other letter that goes with that, I only have 10 copies. It is writing in my capacity as Nigadane to give notice that the Gitsan Development Corporation, the GDC subsidiaries, including Gitsan Forest Inc., Gitsan Safety Services Inc., and Gitsan Environmental Services Inc., and various partnerships and other arrangements into which the GDC and its subsidiaries have entered are operating in Nigadane territory without my consent and relying on both my authority as Nigadane under the Gitsan IO and my related Canadian constitutional rights concerning common law, Aboriginal title, I give further notice that the GDC and the aforementioned entities are in trespass. So if we could have that entered into your minutes, please. This is being handed around. It's not the first time, but I would like to bring it to everyone's attention during these important discussions. Thank you very much. If we could get on the agenda to address these letters, or at least get a response from this.
So we get permission here, she will not on Shakton Nimagas Gnacht is the table on the license Lapayom in Gyeets. Je wordt gelezen in Europa met die we zich ook met dus in Gyeets. Je hebt niet zo'n losse schip kocht hem staan aan die ik gezegd zo.
I'd like to get on the agenda too, please.
Kort gezegd.
There's things I see, I look here, there's only 2 people older than I am on this table. They're all young. Another thing is I want to discuss the old AO from years ago. The way it used to be when people get adopted. The person that brings them in, that person's out in limbo. That's the way it used to be years ago.
Okay, we'll put you on the
The things, another thing I want to know is how many people around this table are actually Gyeets out. That's another thing. My name comes from this village here, and I never get invited. Never down to the office or anything else. They say I've got the wrong alliances. I don't have alliances. I have friends. I've done my own thing all my life. And I was told that the reason I don't get invited to the office downtown is I don't have the right alliances, which to me is full of crap. There's some stuff that used to come out of the office years ago. Oh, Neddy Yell Samogat. I heard that prevalent years ago. So what's going on now? Thank you. There's no separation of Gyeets and Gyeets either. Get some Haliaks.
she's Adam Shaw Mali.
I wanted to say a little bit before the meeting starts.
Okay.
It contains to you guys' last meeting,
Okay.
so I won't be staying for the whole meeting. But there's some stuff I needed to find out, and I really appreciate it if there's no cameras when I speak.
Just to make sure it's in the official record, that's all.
631
Yeah. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Can I make a suggestion about the agenda? Like, we have an agenda in front of us to follow, and we need to discuss process, because we've had 2 meetings where there's interruptions, and then more interruptions, and if that's not, if we don't show respect, then we could just call whoever in here. So it's, maybe we need to discuss this, and what do we do? Do we put it on the next agenda, or we can't just keep adding things as they come and on the fly? It's just not, it's not proper, it's not proper.
It's been the same thing since 2018 of January.
Then maybe we should try something different. Maybe you should call a feast.
Ms. Stahl would like to respond.
This wouldn't happen. But you guys didn't. You didn't follow that ayok. You did everything behind people's backs. You just paid off a few chiefs that can wait as you.
This isn't a Lickadale meeting. This is the
Excuse
governance.
Ms. Stahl.
See, the person that signed that map, my daughter handed out, was a religious man. Him and Arthur Howard, each, used to go to Seattle, see Billy Gray on their own expense. That's what I know about these two. Moses Jones and Arthur Howard. Was this, and each.
The white lick agenda, skidam skokten Peter Sapon, genamdit go and really this to the executive or to the.
Is that the Gyeets and executive or a chosen
That's a
executive?
it's an ayok,
Chosen
not
executive.
on Siwa.
Chosen
Skidam
executive.
skokten genamdit lawson, and then you're okay, then it goes on the agenda, not just march in and then take over.
How can
Our agenda is right here.
That's the whole problem, Marge. The hereditary chiefs are selected by the House members, okay? We are their backbones. Some of us are good taking care of the House members. We've been hearing the mega bucks being paid out through the pipeline. Now the fishery, what else? Forestry. We were never contacted or whether we approved of it. And I'm sorry, looking around here, well, I'll get this am Sawama. So ik was meeting toen, house member, because I grew close to which I was born and raised here. Ik go and look at them, I'm closest. Are these people all GTO or whatever the title is now? Lady to hitselijk it now to be respectful, to talk, send notice out about this meeting. It's behind closed door every time. Niks zag ik ineens and was $300 by sitting here listening. That's all it's about. Hereditary chiefs, maybe not all of you, lining your pockets up from pipeline. And Gordon Sebastian, I know he's a lawyer. Wala kan snit it la bakatiya, wala kan sa diyo to what if you get. Al tal lik se get al action inland fishing. Kupus sus kupahon mogo den the dock inland fishermen go slocht it max. What they didn't want to throw it back in the river. But because the Gyeets on Getty they were raised in they adopted the Gyeets now. They don't wait for you like mutton anywhere. I'm sorry, but I've heard too much. I would call them all these years meetings behind closed doors. Maybe because of who lied. If it weren't for chiefs, we're the backbones of them. They're nothing without his or her house members. Babe, I'm sorry I interrupted you. It's in that. I'm so
When we first started this governance phase, we were told to inform all our house members. All the chiefs here are supposed to let their house members know. Just wanted to,
How come this morning I never get invited?
Let me stop.
That's the umbrella I'm under. I know that out from Martin. I don't have to steal folders to know it. I was raised with it. My mum, Hart, was this. The late Gusant. And I lived down here a long time. I know we did wrong at that time, but at that time, we were young. But we were raised with truth, not BS. I listened to Herbert Wesley, George Ampere Sr., David Milton, Hart, George Milton, Moses Jones. They always sat me down and talked to me. So I know what's going on. That's one thing I've seen, is people take names that don't belong to them on this table. Yet they're trying to sit as chiefs. We can't all be living lies. And I don't have to steal folders or whatever to know that out. I already know it. And that's what seems to be happening here. And now that GTS office seemed to invite certain people. I was told I didn't have the right alliances. I don't need alliances. I got enough friends. Everything I've done in all my life, I did it on my own. Never got $275 grants for nothing. Patted my pocket with $275 grants. Everything I've got, I've worked for. Yet we talk about Gyeets and Ayok. Let's deal with Gyeets and Ayok. Follow them. That's all I'm asking. Let's follow Gyeets and Ayok the way it's supposed to be. Not half-assed. People take names that don't belong to me, and that's not Gyeets and Ayok.
On die vissenslaging is gekozen en dan ik het zo op. Vissen. Misschien ook eens aan, dan is het niet over.
in 1881 to the last government, put the meeting here. So the assistant gets us to the office. So I was a man. Good on Wilson. The sales from an ad. There's organization from TWWA and they were 60. Needed them to went to sudden with the sale. Needed listen. Needed some listens and a size and a size in Wilson. Gams. Reports. Investigation. Some Hildum Dal, Waterford lot. Jeopardize eyes lot. Needed to discuss it. Needed to ask governance what include well at least the steps gets in. Needed treaty office to do that. Oga has upon them and they schemes them the yokes a doubt gets in. The needy gets sent to me, needy skid them nice to alias them.
Sit here and listen to this.
Miss Louise Gaines son and Roddy Ray Jones to church. Roddy the self governance. kan wel uitgooien. Nee, die Wilson. Ga je zo je get lali gaat. Neem je ze maar, neem ze maar, dit is, ze get het gezien. Wilson, Sudan Company, DDC. I'm Chuan Band. I'm Chuan, like Yip Society. Daar wist dat het Somalië gemeen is het is. Je gaat hem Chuan, een band, en daar zei het gezien. Logisch nissen. Schimmen ze aan mosquito's. We live from down and Chuan. His friend with loggers and get up and then that's got septic is truckload of logs down. His head log $100 a cubic meter sedal every truckload, yeah. 48 cubic meter truck, $4,800 each truck kilodollars. This will touch them see them guys and the gas net. Dus ik ga zeggen van die own relaxed band and the size. I'm hired it. You know, did it we did some sedal. Get in the legislative. The success of them relaxed. That's our business. GDC. Yes, it was government agent means to check out it. Gyeets Development Corporation, Gyeets Environment Service, Gyeets Forest Inc. The Sons way, Canadian Racism going on this business. And in Band and the Side, Gyeets. Yup, dit Jonas. But 10 truckloads, Delphi, I would be terrified of that. Sabegut and Lahib. There will some be get and will some lagos. And I like some get in. Name this Moham, the yes and the lace. The Saxon's governance will each community is a Kalahokspet lot. The sessions. Session is LSA since 1990. God willing, this is not liquid gets in. We watch some get they decided in a time to tell them hasten. It's get caught even when the Hawksway side went to. Then we am the wisdom. Thank you.
Nee, het heet dat het open zijn. Tot ziel en edit. Toen het een loos thuis, die houden, alle dagen zijn ganzen. Dat kon ik schieten. Alle dagen. Gedeelten. Some dedicated songs, really good, so I listen to it. Some dedicated songs, so I listen. The young, in the Kundo Towers, so a lot. Wasn't some to get. It'll be agreed when they've signed the treaty. Done nearly on it. Wasn't nearly well a day. So now they decided them hard camera in net. Use some place girls wake up and get them the hard camera in the every time which is what I went they decided them go to picture. They didn't this well a day, I say, oh, that's så den koksø skal blive så gæstligt virkelig en enig og et hoksmål hans bærks. Ach begin gæstligt sagt han i tak glædeligt de så er vanlig. Der er så også und die Lage ist aus dem Paket heilig. Ich habe nicht die Luder, die Zelle liegt nach. Luder ist gerade, ich will das in die Amt. Deren will die Hochschule an die Tag tanzen. Zum Achlet. Und zerraten die Lachim zum Achtrei, Achligei, am Schlebus, am Baradil, zum Eidberger gesucht, der liegt stark sind. Mir die Ultras gegangen, ob Sarai geht noch. Eigenlijk stedigheid willen daar gaan. Je hebt ook een eetopstaags. Zullen ze maken. Kom land daar heel veel wat. In een skies. Waar je la. Gewoon in Sibbigst. Gewoon in Sibbigst. En gewoon die hoogheid gaan die willen ze. Ulai is in de pracht, kom. Ulai daar is hem zewa, jom nedi, skid in de pracht al godet. De missie skip kennen. Neem die leg al je gaan. Nou, in geld. سويت GM بلغي قواتتوس أخلي دالي لأيخ كيف كيف يبقى من خنيدت لو أكس خاري كان هي تنزل Kayıklı veks. Som hedi kis. Sahte namni klab nibqa. Tibqa l-għol kstol mun nibqatin. Kullel tumul. Kayık lis no swagi. Salam għal min saħgħad l-sanan. Kal lahim. Dit is licht te leven, schiet daar, schiet er jou, schiet op eigen op de maan, zo in de zon. Iets in de paard, je op zo'n kwaad hoes. Lilo daar is de message op met machtig te lezen. Om het oogste. Zo zal hij doen. Hard. Zo het is lang zwaar agenda. En ik wil geen zoals het time de meleidigheid. Niet de politie ik en wanneer nog heel sport terras. Ik heb 1 hour de meleidigheid. Ik zei 16. Ik dacht een dag om de beslissing upside down. Niet wel uit daar. In die goede zeil gelend was. Nog niet, hij zei wel misschien de merken willen dat het ook. Nu wil het een wil misschien een wil. Hoi, zijn ook goed is er. Ja, niet wel de daar die is. Kan die gauw aan gaat is. Zijn ook. Kun je die met het zien. Kan die gauw uit de eigen. Je zal hem niet uitleggen, zijn nog niet een belangrijk kind. Je zegt hij zegt. Ergens, zodra men nog tegen dansen. Niet willen daar. Gebeurt daar geweest. Zo. Toen aan mijn elders kunnen willen ze zei om te klaren, zo'n schinnen te klaren. Aan mijn elders. Tabi.
Dus laat ze ook zo scherp liggen.
Some Gyeets hier vanaf. Jij forestry. In gas, kan je de skep Seinfeld. Wat op gaan. Sabagot. Back road. What 9 mile. Die bagpaai luid. Bagheer by the lake, turn left. Just clear cut all over. Ga je de skeppend. Wat lagandert. Ik kan zich een kaart zitten. Dit werd je aan tussen. Net ik aardig zit, een lampers dat kan maken. Dit is Seinfeld. Logging. Legislatief. Dat nakken dat hier wat hooi. Kan ook zo dat hier tussen is. George Milton had Moses Jones en die mag laten wat hooi zijn. Dit schoon wat hooi Simon Turner. Legocht op koers als gewachts. Hooi zijn. Ik zag dat je daarbij smaas gaan wil weten. Dit wil sabagun. Net genee. Dat is als we toch een mas get. Helemaal zit. Ik ga niet geworden. Wat kan niet legislatief. Ik begon niet zich. Net tussen net die hooi gaat. Ik kan daar hebben. Office. Oh, Lujums, Ayok. Nee, net die little scatter till get. Niet die laatste lummers te noemen. Smith ook die laatste lummers te noemen. Net die Chilel die noemen. Je op de jene Porsche, in kinder naar Seinfeld, ja, die daar allemaal lukt. Ligt zo bak met Seinfeld, als het kan. Ach, ik ga niet zich. Nee, je gaat laten, laat het uit die verlaai. Dan wil je zin, nee, je gaat laten. Weet je, ja, op z'n daar, jullie ze bouwen, dat kan je daar. Nee, ik zag toen nog niet lezen. Je hebt een man die toch was een, de ones, Lujum, Ayok, street, en die. Met een wilde kan naar school, street. En nu nog nieuw, nee, aan de woord. Dus gewoon het jij. Je blir with the 6th of June. Now till you use a young some seats. How many the 6th? Yes, but don't get net in as multi, net in lowered. Helt guy dog marked off from Sudan. In net in good league suck, gedamdig like na low. Net you want like a grant. The hawks it will so large as get animal. You believe any? I worked for it on my own. When I went to school, I paid for that myself. My wife did the same thing when she went to school. We didn't depend on Indian affairs. We just did our own thing, because that's the way we were raised. Thank you.
As I suggested, if there's time, 6 o'clock, we'll see them.
Hier Chicago. Die macht mir die Session Club agenda med 60. De Anna. Okay. Okay, well, you guys will be on the agenda at the end. We'll do ours first. That's okay.
We thought we would have been on the agenda because we presented it all last meeting, but it will be at the end of the agenda, or it? No, because it affects everything that you're talking about. That's why we brought it up last meeting, so it would be considered. Everything that we've laid out in our letter affects the agenda that you put forward, such as a tribunal. Everything that we've talked about here, it's a reasonable request to ask for a first meeting devoted to the GTS and the Gyeets negotiators, such as yourselves here as well, explaining to the Simgiget, all the Simgiget, what this Gyeets governance will look like at the end of this negotiation or implementation process, and fully answering our questions.
Yeah. I think the tribunal is on the agenda. We haven't worked on it yet, so. But it'll be discussed at the end. Okay, gas and need to adopt agenda with addition. Adopt this latest agenda. Seconder. Amanda. It's been moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. No questions asked. Passed by consensus.
Those in favor, I guess, could raise their hands, because I'm not in favor of the agenda.
Okay, so one against the agenda, the rest have approved. Review and approve agenda, that's done. Review and approve minutes April 15th.
Did we get a copy of the minutes? We had been there, so.
Secretary.
I'll move to adopt the minutes.
Okay, it's been moved to adopt the minutes of the
I don't see any fishermen around the table.
April 15th by Ray. Need a seconder. Seconded by Anita. Moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. Passed by consensus, no questions. Any business arising from the minutes of the 15th? Anybody? No? If there's none, then we'll do an update. Update crisis management team, Robin, first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On May 10th, the crisis meeting at Suffering Docks and up. On May 10th, we had a meeting on the government, GFO, BC Treaty Commission. Started off with a prayer. We had to do the knock. I thought it was, first of all, I would like to really thank Vernon and Anita for letting us on their territory. What a beautiful, beautiful area. It was very, very nice. We showed the government our traditional ways of, when Anita asked them, when we were doing the knock, why did you come here? He's asking the government. And they said to listen, to learn, to engage and cooperate. I thought that was a really good answer for them. It seemed to me that the DFO is still a little bit playing hardball, but we were getting through to him through Norman's really, really good feedback and comments. And Bobby, he's done a great job of getting through to them. We told them we are shutting down the river, we're not asking them. And the government, Patty, said he's trying to learn and provide information to take the right steps to become more clear to Patty about the safety concern. It became more clear for Patty about the safety concern on the Annette and trespass. We also told the government that we don't trespass on anyone else's Annette, have to have permission. So overall, it was a really good meeting. I believe we are getting through to them. And I think we just need a little bit more time to get through to their head. And it's overall it's going good.
Thank you, Robin. Any questions for Robin?
Okay, what we did was that our subject was terms of reference. Terms of reference means that all those involved in this closing down of the river, why we are closing down the river, and who it's going to affect. And I started off by saying that when the white man first came here, they looked at us as terra nullius, the land that we're on, an empty land with nobody on it. Just, I didn't mention this part, but I know that they said that our people were subhuman, and that's what I told them. I told them that because of this, the government mistreated us, and that from the mistreatment, our people are in a state, it's called dissociation. They're in a state where they're basically in a state of shock. And when somebody's going to court, they use this, they're in a state of shock, dissociation, and that is what our people are doing, are living with. And these are the people throughout Canada that they are doing treaties with. And that is what I said. They're doing business with people who don't even know the plight of First Nations. And they are subverting our culture. And by that I meant that lupatlaptit, it had to be lupatlaptit, Willalo. I told them that when they came here, we had a very distinct culture. We had laws. We had a system of land tenure. And I told them all our laws came from respect. The kind that we live with from day to day, every single day. We show respect to each other. And that is where all our laws come from. We respect all the fish, all the animals on our land. And we find that our fish are not being respected. I used a little bit of stories too about how the fish were our families, the brothers and sisters, our mothers who came back as fish, and that some of them, if we didn't respect them, we were told to burn every last little bit of the fish that we ate, the bones and everything. And one came back up and it had no eye, and that was the story on the Matas Kumane, that I told them, and they had to look for that bone and burn it, and then the fish came back whole again. So that's a lot of Colin, the DFO guy, said he does not support the closure of Christina, but still, as Robin said, we are closing it regardless of whether we like it or not. And a lot of the things that the concerns that they have is the safety of the people involved. I don't know if they mean us, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to have a lot of protection behind them, and the police and everything. But we don't have that. We have ourselves. So I think their concern for the safety is the safety of the general public, who are going to be trying to come on our territories and trespass. That's why we're dealing with only this fishing right now, because we can't be addressing territorial things right now. So we started very simple. We're taking incremental steps, and I did say that to them, incremental steps. And we're going forward slowly. And they wondered how the trespass was going to affect their people. Would we protect them, or they'll be coming on our land, and that's trespass. I told them that the permits that they are issuing will be allowing the people to trespass on our territories. And I told them, I said, these permits that you are selling to them does not involve the Gyeets, I said. You mentioned 25 million, they mentioned 25 million before. You guys are getting all that money, I said, but we're not getting any of it, I told them. So he came back with, it goes to different things, it goes right back into it, he said. They talked about working together. They talked about working together with us. I think we're on a threshold. I think we're on a threshold here where they might, what we're doing is something nobody has ever done before, and that's tell them that we have the authority, and they don't. So, and with a focus like that, with a focus on just one issue for now, I'm pretty sure that if we work together, we could achieve this.
Als je me gaat, daar zullen ze maar. Je is benauwd. Galeax. Bist du lag toen mismaak zo'n get. Dan nu is de plezier. Ik zeg net, ik zeg zo, ja, nee, go. Je luistert me ja, misschien de kinderen. Nou, zo lag hier pakt hem de kruisjocht. Die ja, ik zei het zin. Kijk, wanneer dat is, zo moet ze maar weten. Het ga je wat ze maar weten. Ik zeg, je naam mij laat. Het kinderen smaakt, ik was zeggen. Het met het. Ik kijk, als je jocht lag hier, het is gooier in dit. In het jocht is inderdaad is provincial and federal government. Best hem laat het lepedouw, kap lepedouw, en joh. En ze hebben hem taakt, en ze hebben hem dat, ze hebben deze joh, is maakt zo'n get. Kon nog niet in mijn net op die dag in de park, like ze uit. to the knock to talk even early selection to make it better. And the knock. Kinams government تخكيت السلام شوالي يخدي الهيب إنادو إن ما أشتد الهون إذا بمال بلاد إتنادو تيناخ كنت واشياء إن ما أشت أمشوال هون شوت الأمشوال catch and release iets in de schreeuwt, geleerd, uitgeprest en normaal. Het was in orde, in Geo, in orde, langs London Gocht was boundary was in Gyeets, London Gocht. Misschien de ooit schreeuwt. Net op die schreeuwt, het loopt eruit op. Schreeuwt met hem zwaar. Ze zeggen het gewoon, schiet op een jaar. I de lilste, het loopt een jaar. Lijf geschoten zeggen, lijf geschoten op zijn woorden. Dat zijn na. I de raad, I de kinam. Hon is daar altijd. Nee, die gozer lopen laag, net op die zou je leven. Maar ze op trouw op het hond zich koud, net die rom. Die lijzen, jongens, die in zijn met gezond. Hou hem hond. Lijzen van jongen, huims, hond. Zelfs hond. Ze de koch is het lucht die haar kort dit van rust. Zelfs hond, lo is dit het is. Jocht hem neemt is het lucht eten. Jees, huim is die in zijn met gezond, krap in zijn met gezond. Het genoeg te bezoeken zeggen, nou, het kees, tel redden ze, eloïet. Die wordt ook zo uit, nog hier, nog steeds lijks. Die daar zijn adem gezakt. In dat op dit achter de passeer. Nog hier, die wordt ook zo uit. Trespass, nou, dit is de passeer, die ook zo zien, jocht me zeggen. Het hond is een uithost. Dus de geest en laat uit naar bladet. Dus hier wordt het zeggen. Je net het naar goed dit. Je zei jokt zoals je hem. Zei jokt zoals je hem. Nee, zei jokt zoals je hem legt. Nee, toch die tretsen. Ach, nog niet dit nou, zei ook zoals hem nog niet schiet. Zoals. Nog niet dit nou. Jezus, met zo'n laat dit. Je hebt echt om zwaai, jacht dit. Zo leren dit. Garbage, zo max. Ook die ik loop eruit op, ik zeg garbage. Mocht dit, het spoelt dit. Niet zo goed, laat dit. Ja, zo we good of the word as well. Bediend. Nee. Nee. Wel je spoort gewoon neer, het geeft nog steeds rechts. Nou. Ja, TV, staat een monster met de TV, nieuws, sport, nog steeds likes. Nee, lijkt op de genoeg bij de nood. Het lagels, قبل لازم شوية سمسح garbage limit وتساوي zodat kop nergens ik zeg plastic of die gobbert er met hand komt garbage niet zo heel laat uit om laat net op de nacht zwart om recreation fishermen sport fishermen candy zo alleen niet voor plastic candy wrappers gemeen zo alleen niet voor boxes te maken Pilotit action. Helt liseum bladet. Daar nult op zich ook. Zie hem is lip eorum. Tselm eorum shoa. Ik zeg hem nog en ik ze mag alle gelhip. En mijn schat laakt om zijn shoa. Ik nog een kok school te get. Met de is lahip. Kok school, lahip lilfjes lang shoa. Op zo'n mooie lilfjes lahip. Ja, ze moet te raar het laten, lawande, moet ik leiden zo kellen. Joch, ze reserved het door een job. Joch, lawande die kok slecht die op die, moet op jezus goed te laat dit nog. Zijn ook spek dit. Je wilt zetten. Dus we zeggen dat we kwasten op thuis. Die met een kokskooltje giet, die kan hij scheel. Kan hij uitkomen, kan hij uitkomen. Is dat nog? Je zoekt zich een aardje wat we zelf gaan neerleggen. Ze is net op vissen, die gooien met een bril. De zelf lijmen, wat is kosten om zo aan. Die tooier schennis komt. Met de mensen zo aan, die ik ze licht gereisd dit. Kina bald. Schennis komt. Helpt om die zo neer. Om systemelijk in uit te de amp. Die geeft zit om zelf alleen. Dus je moet de woorden gaan zoek zich geen uit. Met alles is hem echt nog niks gezegd. Nee, nou zo'n skillig, hè? Vernon.
I got a comment, I think. So he gets in the manner. I'm sure that advertises earlier some table. But you guys can rub it into the white man. The Gyeets always had a constitution that would live by. When you talk to them, you tell them we got a constitution that's back up what we do. And it's known as the Yoke Subye. Let them see the table. Taught them kunststücke von Lohn. Nu gelekt gezien je oor en zwart gestoord is geloond met zelf. Dan wordt aangeschikt. That's one big heavy thing we learned about. The Constitution, they always ask in all my talks regarding trapline and all the other things, when we're talking to them from the Gyeets point of view, is that they always ask if we got one written on. They said, no, but we all know our own constitution. And it's worse in Canada. You get 30 days for stealing, but when you get to 70, you die if you steal. So that's stronger. And that's something that's very, very useful to use in this example. And that's why I think when you guys talk to any government, don't forget to bring it out that we always have a yoke store that looks after what we do in anything. Thank you.
Roddy.
It salagram mulai un band fisheries Chinook salmon for Fraser River leader. Limes, spring salmon op die soort Chinook. Je gewoon liedskit, hoe de Gyeets and band through the Skinner River to their band at the Fraser River. Na kayo wat is het law zoals dit zeggen de mulai na kay yung maar kayo wat is DFO Vancouver die DFO komen zijn. Skinner na dit no chocolate Skinner River. Semester net pilotit sa max never usually. 360 die net maar kopers houden. Je zag de moulage, daar wordt een sketch die even ooit Vancouver en die even ooit komen was along the Skinner River. Schiet hem naar niet nog, met no chocolate Skinner River. Thank you.
And I'm just going to use English. In looking at the fish plan, it says protection of fish and fish habitat. Those two things go hand in hand when it comes to maintaining our way of life. If you cut down all the trees, the creeks won't stay cool anymore for the fish to come up. And with what's going on in Gyeets territory, the escalation of logging in all territories, unfortunately, falls under Gyeets Forest Enterprises. That should be included in this too. You have to have the statistics. You can't just have a fish plan without covering the bases when it comes to streams, protection, riparian zones, buffer zones. Those don't exist anymore. If you look at the existing forest plan, those don't even fall into play anymore. So you have to include that in this. Dig up the statistics of how many fish come up. Dig out the statistics of what gets slaughtered at the mouth of Babine. You have to include that. You can't just go by what, I'd never believe any word that comes out of a bureaucrat or a politician's mouth. You have to hit them with facts. That's how the game goes. They'll listen to your stories, yes, but they won't write it down and use it as part of the paper. You have to lay down the facts. Every year at our fishing site, we feed over 100 families, and we keep track of it. We give it to GWA. Those have to come out too. That has to be part of your fish plan. How to sustain that year by year by year. And with Roddy's question, where does that fall into the the Chinook come up this way? Do we voluntarily not fish until the go by? There's no such thing as throwing over any bycatch when it comes to being elevated. We don't waste anything. If we catch a we'll take it home. But for the time being, let's think about doing, if we have to, volunteer, letting the go by. Let's discuss that. Put it as a part of your plan. 8,500, 8,400 Chinook is not much. When they left it open for us to catch a couple of years ago, in one set, we had over 20. So add that up all the way up and down our fishing areas. Put that into statistics. Forestry has to come into play when it comes to this. I've written so many papers with government, and every T has to be crossed. How many times we have to rewrite it until they accept it. And that's what you have to do. Find a writer and put that into writing. It's okay to have discussions, but put it in statistical form. That's what your team has to do. Gyeets. Norman.
Okay, I'll answer Roddy's. Okay, when we put out that nobody is going to be fishing on our Deep and Loch Axe, I was telling the government that our authority is over and above theirs. That's what we're telling them. You know, and when we talk. I told the government that we've been dealing with the government for so many years, and all the backstabbing from them, you know, is something that we've been dealing with all our lives. I told them, you know, we don't just do it in one meeting, but you know, throughout the meetings, that's what we say. And some of us are very, very strong in how we speak to the government. We told them that there are 14,000 of us who benefit from the fish. But that 14,000 is just a small amount, you know, because everybody else has, you know, their families involved, you know, and so it just expands. You know, what we're trying to do is show the people, everybody, that's why these videos are being videoed, that we are here for all the people. And that includes all the forestry. We told them, all the forests are gone. And because of this, our rivers are starting to shrink, I said, you know. It's just, you know, everything, all the poisons that are happening. It was mentioned, I think we had about three or four meetings with them now. And all the concerns that were brought up were basically brought up, so that's what I'd like to say.
I'd like to talk about what Dale said about buffer zones. We had it in our land use plan to have buffer zones on the creeks and all the rivers that have logging on there. To have buffer zones on the roads. Anywhere there's people living. So the buffer zones, we asked the government to do that, but they never answered us on our land use plan. I don't think they like the buffer zones on the creeks and everything. But we went silviculture one time. See those little creeks there, there's cats and bulldozers, everything going through that little creek in the, and that creek is just all muddy and everything. And all the creeks are like that. So the forest doesn't care about the creeks or the rivers. There has to be a buffer zone wherever there's any logging to protect the fish habitat. I mean,
so mes Roddy het skut land use plan git jokjok die wit git nog en git now legalized git now die representatives git nog land use plan provincial government dan moet legalize college git moet die follow so we get this on the audit now we're recording. Donald's and then present the land use to legalize it for you guys.
Just good.
Good.
Så helt dykt upp god i land use plan.
But the buffer zones are on there and there's some recommendations on there that if they're gonna log, they need to leave the creeks and rivers alone. Build a bridge or use a half-moon culvert. We don't damage the culverts doing and no buffer zones and also the cats go through the creeks with their load of logs. They damage the creeks. There's cats, and there's a lot. When we present the land use plan to government, we told them it's a living document. If we miss something, we're going to add on to it somewhere down the road, and. Gyeets doing pretty good with their land use plan and hopefully to follow up with ours. But I think each community should make a formal presentation, get the media in and show them, make it public.
Just a question to the crisis management team. Are you guys forming any alliances with Muscat, Jimshan, on some common issues, Haisla, or any plans to meet with these people? You know, because remember we met in February in Kitchen-Cailin, and we were the dominant group there, but we haven't heard anything from the other people.
no, there's no response from them. Like they're supposed to come to the next meeting with the government, and they didn't even show up. None of them. I think they're a little bit afraid that this, the move to stop everything, like a lot of them have agreements with different, like anglers and all that, and they're getting money from them. I think they're afraid to lose a little bit of all that money, you know. So they don't want to come forward, you know, and address what is happening to the fish. Yeah, I have discussed about the past, where, you know, different things. Oh yeah, some of them have, you know, a lot of them are really dominated by the band system. So that's where all their money comes from, and they don't want that disrupted, eh? Whereas us, this group here, were dominated by the hereditary system. If they baptized their food, and then
Please, Landry.
Just wanted to maybe agree with Dale with Ministry of Forests. They're long drawn out name now. Ministry of Lands, Resources, Forestry Operations and Development, I think it's called. Resource Development. I'd suggest that we probably bring them to the table as well. Because, like Dale said, the forest is part of their water system, our drainage system, everything that they do up above, they might not even cross a creek, but it affects the water downstream, even if it's not in a stream, the water that flows off those cut blocks that go into those streams creates silt. So I think we should probably invite the Ministry of Forests to some of the discussions and relay to them what effects they're having on the fish stocks.
yeah, Paddy Hirschfield, he's involved with forestry, you know, all those things. So he talks about the forestry issues, and we talked to him about those forestry issues. You know, the pollution and all that.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was about the Xinjiang. The other day, I wanted to go, somebody brought up at one of the last meetings that there was a verbal agreement with the Xinjiang, coastal Xinjiang and Gyeets and some of the upper river nations that we were allowed to fish out to a certain point on the Skeena River. I brought that to the attention of the fisheries office at Gyeets Band because I was inquiring about a food fish permit where we used to be able to get food fish permits not so many years ago. They'd allow us to go out and catch some halibut and spring salmon in the river, the mouth of the river. He was saying that agreement is not even in place anymore, and that most of the food fishing is directed out of the Batla Band office, and they won't allow anybody but their own members to food fish anywhere downstream of Gyeets. I just thought I'd bring that up, that I don't think they'd be willing to get involved in this in any way because of the way it would affect them and their sports fishing and their food fishing.
Kind of forget where the fish go.
They have. That's it. Thank you.
I agree with what everyone has put forward on the table. The whole ecosystem, you know, the forestry, the whatever is happening on our life, it affects our fish and our streams and our creeks. But I guess the hard fact is that there's people trespassing on our, and we all agreed early on that we would just fight that off for now because we can't, there's so many issues that we have to address and we don't have the capacity to address them, and we have to just take those steps, and that's what we agreed to do for this year, was to close down the recreational fishing on our river. But I wish too that we could, you know, stop. If I had my way, there'd be no one would take one single tree off our life, affect our food fish that way. So it's tough.
Google's a wonderful resource.
Who's what?
Google's a wonderful resource.
Google.
You don't spend extra money. blurbs from whatever you read. That's all you have to do is statistics. You don't have to confront or talk to the forester. It's all there. It's like reading the paper. Refer to reference.
Right. I think you better include the forestry about the fishery. Because they did a lot of logging up in Gyeets there a few years back. And just a little bit of rain, you see the Gyeets River is just mud. I don't know if the loggers went through the Gyeets River while they were logging. And just a little bit of rain, just mud coming down to the Gyeets. There used to be a lot of fish in the Gyeets, coho, spring salmon. And the hounds used to go up there, and now there's nothing. So we have to address that to the forestry.